I am with Pastor Ken Banda, who's also a professor and a church planter within the X29 network. And Pastor Ken, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me today.
All right. Pastor Ken, would you please just maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself? I've followed your ministry for quite a while. We've met in South Africa and just gotten to hear all the marvelous things that are happening in Zambia. Would you just tell us a little bit about yourself, your family, and just maybe the church you are at and what God has been doing there?
Yeah, so my name is Ken Banda, and I'm a pastor of a Baptist church here in Zambia. The church is called
Hmm.
Faith Baptist, which has been
Okay.
in existence for the last 33 years, and God has graciously allowed me to serve this church this year for 21 years. And
Hmm.
we have been involved in church planting. First of all, before I talk about the church, let me talk about my family. I'm married, and God has blessed us with 6 kids. And so I have 3 boys and 3 girls, and so I'm
Yeah,
quite
yeah.
a busy dad.
I have 6 kids too. Yeah.
And this year, actually in August, we'll be celebrating our 20th anniversary. So I'm just excited about that.
Wow.
In
Yeah,
marriage, the
yeah.
Lord has kept us that far. And so yeah, my life has been involved in ministry, and our church is very much active in church planting. That's really our heart, our desire. We have so far planted uh, 2 churches. We are actually planting a new church this year. We just sent our new missionary in February last month, and so we are very excited about our new project that we have. I'm part of
Hmm.
Acts 29, and one of the reasons I joined Acts 29 is because of their desire and passion for church planting. And because our church also is so much aligned with the distinctives and also what they're trying to accomplish. And
Okay.
so
Mm.
our desire really as a church really is to see many healthy churches planted across Zambia and as well
Hmm.
beyond Zambia. We have a lot of our neighboring countries like DRC Congo right now where there is war. There are a lot of unhealthy churches, a lot of charismatic churches that are not healthy. And so we
Hmm.
have a desire not just to plant churches within Zambia, but also across these borders where we see healthy churches that will reproduce themselves in the years to come. So that's
Yeah.
where we are really.
Yeah, that's really good. And yeah, so you also teach at a seminary, or seminaries rather.
Yes. So I teach I'm also a professor of theology at a Central Africa Baptist University here in Zambia. And I'm
Hmm.
also right now there as a dean. I'm also dean of Bible. And so quite a heavy load on my side as well. So in charge of faculty, in charge of curriculum development. Yeah, so apart from teaching here in Zambia at Central Africa Baptist University, I am also an adjunct lecturer at South Africa Theological Seminary, where I teach systematic theology as well. And so I bring to the ministry not just a pastoral experience, but also in the academic world, where I'm also training men for ministry.
That's that's amazing to hear. Yeah, would you kind of maybe just give us a little bit of an overview of so you planted the church faith, and you are now involved in training church planters. So most of them are coming from the college you teach at, right? And
Yes,
they're
yes,
ready, and then you give them the tools and then you send them out, right? Yeah, could you kind of tell
yes.
us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so one of the desires we had many years ago, we saw there were many brothers who would graduate from Bible school and they would go
Yeah.
into ministry without any pastoral experience, and sort of many of them did not do very well. And so we designed what we call a pastoral internship, which is a 1 year training for those who've
Okay.
graduated from Bible school to give them sort of they need to know what really goes on in ministry. And so God has providentially provided for us a house right now where we can host 3 interns per year, and we basically work with them in terms of sermon preparation. When I'm preparing the sermon I preach on Sundays, I would prepare with them. They attend all our elders' meetings. As I go for pastoral oversight, they go with me. When there's a funeral or when there is a wedding, preparing all those things, basically giving them how a life of a pastor, how it looks like. And so these are the men that once they finish, these are the men that we are basically sending out into church planting. And so it has really worked out very well for us because they are not going into ministry starting afresh. At least we would have worked with them. The other thing we are doing is actually resourcing them, giving them good books to read so
Okay.
that they really prepare. Yeah. So currently we are using the 9 Marks guys, is it Capitol Hill? They've written a very good books on ecclesiology. So those are some of the books that we are using just to help them have a firm ground of ecclesiology before they launch into ministry.
That's good. That is good. Yeah, and yeah, so you just had, so in this program that you're doing, you this last year you had 3 people, um
Yeah.
and then so you and you're sending one of those people, right?
One of those people, yes, currently is the one who's planting our new church plant. Yeah.
Okay. Can you
Yeah. So
tell us a
that
little
is
bit
really,
more about the?
so the church plant is in the northern part of Zambia, which is roughly
Okay.
5 hours driving from here. And it's basically, we are
Mm-hmm.
targeting rural areas because a lot of these brothers, there's a lot of gaps in the rural area of Zambia. Many guys, when they come to train in big cities, they don't go back. And so, but the force
Yeah.
teachers, basically, the force teachers are going in these rural areas to plant these force churches. So we realize we want to target these rural areas where the gospel is not there. And so this brother is
Mm-hmm.
going there right now, and he's been there for a month. So basically, our desire is to support him financially,
Okay.
so that he's faithfully serving, so that doesn't have to have any other burdens from for look for work or to save, because these are very remote areas, and so life is a little bit harder. So we are
Yeah.
providing his house, we are providing housing, upkeep, and so trying to also help with his children's education as well.
That's awesome. That's really good. Yeah, I was so shocked when you
Yeah,
sat down and you showed me the program that you walk with them through, and I was so impressed with that. And not only that, just that's exciting just to hear that this person is going, this brother is going, and they're planting now. Um, and I was shocked as well just to see the numbers of that, like as into like really like how much does it cost for you to do any of that,
yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why City Church came around, and just we want to also be able to partner in that way. Yeah,
yeah.
like with that said, you know what is just as you look back in this brother's life, what are some of the most encouraging things you saw that at least even got you to say, man, you're ready to go? And also as well, like what is also just exciting for you as you look forward to this brother getting the work there? Are they already people that he's already kind of reached, or is he starting from scratch?
So he's basically starting from scratch. He has
Okay.
to. Currently he's doing a lot of evangelism, door to door. He's using
Okay.
every
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. We are also, there is a radio station that is in that place, so we are using that as to preach the gospel through radio, because it's really
Mm-hmm.
a lot of listeners listen to these radio stations. And
Okay.
one of the things that really gave us evidence that he is ready is his humility. And this guy
Yeah.
has a bachelor's degree in Bible, so he's a really trained guy. He could
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
gotten a church in these big cities, but he was willing to go to this rural area. A lot of humility on this guy's side. And his wife,
Mm-hmm.
were really the wife was really on his side, supporting him, but both willing to be sent out. And so for us,
Mm-hmm.
that was really an indication that he's ready. He has a calling upon his life, because other young men would have refused, and except that a
Yeah.
pastorate probably
Yeah.
in the big cities. But for him as a young man, willing to go to those places, for us that was really encouraging.
Yeah. That That's always very encouraging to see when Jesus has gotten a hold of someone and he has become Lord. They're willing to go wherever God sends them, knowing that He will meet them there and He will sustain them. So I'm just glad to hear that this is something that you are getting behind. And yeah, and so would you at least like before we take a turn here, just would you kind of tell us a little bit more about like in order for this work to keep going, because I know you just rolled out one and you still have to support them, but then there's still just like you have a house of three, but you're bringing on another
Yeah.
person, right? And yeah, so
Right. Right.
what
Yeah.
do so what are the needs that you have right now that just like you are like, man, if people were to partner with us in this way? Because one of the things that just makes our heart sing is that we want to see. I just always tell even our people here, and not only that, as I just interact with church planters, that we want to participate in what brings joy to heaven, obviously, which is the gospel intersecting with
Yeah.
lives,
Yeah.
going to people from every tribe and every tongue and every nation, and you're participating in that, and we want to continue to participate in that. And yeah, so what is just some of the things that you're like, man, if this is what's needed the most, in order for this mission to keep going, so that people can be encouragement to you.
Yeah. So one of the first needs right now is resources. These guys need
Okay.
resources. We give them books because that's a little bit challenge here in Zambia right now is to get good books. Give them very good books for these guys to continue reading, continue growing in their walk with the Lord. And also now to keep them, they have to feed, they have to eat. So we provide them with a house, but on a monthly basis that we provide a stipend that helps them to buy the glossary, the food as well. We have to buy gospel tracts as we share the gospel. And so all those are needs that we will need on a monthly basis just to keep these brothers alive, but also to resource them. Because the books that we give them, we want them to go with them when they finish the program so that they can continue, build their own library as well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you need books, and then obviously, as you let them go with those, you need to replenish your library as well,
Yes, we
right?
need to replenish our
Yeah.
library. You're right. Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm very very excited to at least come and visit. You're on my top priority to come and
Yeah. Yeah.
see, and just
That'd be great. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um yeah, so I think that's very important to just to kind of give a highlight of just the things that you're doing on the ground. And not only that, I'm just always like every time I interact with you, I know we're talking, and if everything kind of comes together, we're talking about writing some things together to
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
multiply resources,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to that, because I know that that's very very important for that to happen. um yeah. So one of the things I was going to ask, which is actually going to be part of this podcast, is, you're 20 years into marriage, and not only that, like, you've been pastoring, you've taught in seminaries, you've done all these things, and um, you know, what are some of the things that, like, as you're preparing a leader, and you just know that, like, these leaders are not going to make it if they don't have these things. And obviously from your life, and then also convictionally and scripturally, like, just some things that are like, if they have this, you've seen, for example, people coming into ministry, and then coming into ministry, and then, like, maybe things taking them out, right, of ministry. Yeah, what are just some of the, I just would love to pick your brains on this, like, what are some of the things you have looked at and you're like, these are non-negotiables. If you are going to last in ministry, and then if you're going to last even in the hard places,
Mm.
and then also obviously like at any context, because I just wanted to pick your wisdom on that.
Yeah, I think number one really would be character. I think for me, character is a non-negotiable
Hmm.
issue.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, we had four interns, and we had to let one go because of character issue.
Okay. Hmm.
This is a guy who's extremely gifted, but his character had a lot of question marks, and I think the Bible is very clear that a man must be blameless, and so
Hmm.
for us,
Hmm.
that's a non-negotiable. We don't look at the gifting, we don't look at experience. If a man is not above reproach, then he cannot be in ministry.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
we tell brothers from the word go that you must be a man who is blameless before God and before man.
Okay.
And also I think humility is one of the other things, because some of these guys are coming from Bible school, all these, they've trained, they've got these papers. Sometimes they begin to look down on those that they're shepherding. And so humility really is one of the other things, because we tell them that if you're not humble, God cannot use you. God is using those that
Hmm.
are humble.
Hmm.
And so I think those will be my top two lists, really: humility and character. Obviously, character works itself in humility as well. It works itself in how they handle money. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
Especially where the economy is difficult here in Zambia currently, and all these things. And so people that are not able to handle money, God's money, and they're not good stewards. That really shows itself over time. So we're expecting those that are being trained to be men who are honest, men who are obedient, who have a servant's heart. They're going to ministry for right motives, not what they'll get out of it. And so I think those are very, very important.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So character is very important, because that character overflows into all these other things, like whether it's family, whether it's um yeah, it's a I was thinking about all the character, all the qualities. Like you're right, like when you're looking at First Timothy, like the rest of it is character, and then gifting
Yeah,
is almost like
yeah,
just
yeah,
a small
yeah,
part of it. And
yeah,
you're right, the temptation is that as you get more and more education, it can be easy now to 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 slip onto the other side of
yeah,
self-righteousness, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden then you forget that you were once lost and you were found,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
forget
yeah,
that you still need Jesus and his grace more than
yeah, yeah, yeah.
uh
That's
just as
true.
much, just as much as everybody does, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm very pleased with even that humility being, because humility then allows that character to grow, right?
Mm, mm,
um
yeah.
humility basically um makes you, keeps you a, like, makes you a disciple, keeps you a
Yeah.
disciple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
in that way then you can now be, like I think I remember some time back where humility, um if you look at some of the pastors that we've looked at, um they end up actually being treated like God, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
you know the
Yeah.
it's that papa theology,
Yes. 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 Yes.
where at the end of the day it's
Yeah.
like you can't even hold your own Bible anymore.
Yeah. 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 That's a lot here in
Yeah.
Zambia. I'm sure in Zimbabwe as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, we see it trickles down from the United States a lot,
Mhm. Mhm.
and different parts of the world and stuff. And yeah, and what about you? What do you feel like has kept you going in ministry? I know you've had, and maybe you could also just share what are some of the hardest seasons you've gone through in life and in ministry, because I know that you're not just going on perpetual fuel here. You
Yeah. Yeah.
also,
Yeah.
yeah, what are some of the maybe you could share some of the hard things you've gone through in ministry, and what are some, and ministry, and then also in family. Yeah, usually people don't make it to 20 years if you're as busy as you are.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
and you have 6 children. So maybe just
Hmm.
kind of give me a little bit of just rhythms in terms of Pastor Ken's life. What are some of those rhythms that have just kept you enduring in ministry, so that, like, as you continue to run this race?
Yeah, I think there have been many times that I felt like giving up. Like I think maybe let me
Yeah.
find a different change. But I think God in His providence has given me a wonderful wife who has stood with me
Hmm.
to support me, encourage me, pray for
Yeah.
me, and I
Hmm.
think she has really been a blessing to help me those times when I'm low. I would share. I'm feeling discouraged here, because as a pastor, there are times when you are investing your life in members, and they're the same ones who are biting you, they're the same ones who are devouring you, and so you feel maybe I need a different change. I may find better members, but I think my wife has really been a helper, a true support as when I feel those times of discouragement with ministry.
Hmm.
And there are times when probably I don't see fruit. You are preaching, you are evangelizing, you are doing all these things, but I don't seem to see fruit. And I think also having good elders with you, having good godly men serving alongside with you, I think that has really been also a blessing. I have a brother whom I've served with, so we are two pastors currently, and he's just been such a blessing to me. I serve alongside and sharing just the burdens together, so that we are not alone. And so I think one of the things that has kept me going is to have good friends around, good brothers
Yeah,
around that you can share your lives, share your burdens, share your struggles with, and they can speak into your life and encourage you and pray with you. I think that has been very, very helpful for me.
that's good. That is good. Yeah, and then obviously, like, I know that, um uh you know last time I talked, I think you mentioned even just the fact that, like, you're very devoted to daily being in the scriptures, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, and so maybe I wanted to kind of just, like, what that's like, and this is, I know it's going to be very encouraging to
yeah,
our
yeah.
people, what that's like. And then also, like, I want to probably, one last one, another one would be, you're a theology professor. How is theology fueling your worship? Because a lot
Right.
of
Yeah,
times when, like, you sometimes you just like all these, and how is
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah,
have you
yeah.
found that to be fueling your worship?
Yeah, so I've made a commitment. My day starts at
Mm,
4 in the morning. I wake up very early in the morning at 4
my
every
lord.
day,
Yeah, yeah.
and I'll go because my office is in my house, and so I'll just make myself a cup of coffee, and I'll start reading from 4 up to 6 in the morning, and just to
Mm,
feed my own
mm,
soul, spend time with the Lord, and I've
yeah.
got a members register. I pray for each member, to spend time reading and time praying for my member, praying for myself, praying for my family before they wake up, and just to really devote myself to spiritual disciplines, because I realize if
Mm,
I am not really exercising those spiritual disciplines in my own life, I need to lead by example. Example to my wife, example to my kids, and to my congregation. I know it's challenging. There are times that I struggle to wake up, but times that I wake up, but I just want
yeah.
to make that a habit that has developed over the years. And I think one of my habits is, as I read the Bible, I also have a book I read every month, sort of a supplementing my spiritual walk. So I will pick a book, and that has helped me just to fuel, like you are saying, my theology. um, there's a temptation always to separate theology from life, and
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I always ask myself, how does this systematic theology, how does that affect me as a Christian, and sort of looking for implications for life, so that I
Hmm.
don't
Hmm.
separate the two. And so theology must reduce itself to practice. I need to apply it in my own life before I take it in a classroom. So that's really a discipline that I've developed over time.
That's so good to hear. Yeah, I'm usually I'm up like around 4:30, and
Okay.
spend some time and then go to the gym, go to the gym, and then obviously, like, spend time in prayer. And I'm just so encouraged even just with that, like, because recently I realized that, like, oh man, I need to be praying for our members
Yeah.
systematically,
Yeah.
and praying for my family systematically. So with that said, I created a calendar as well, like, just like where I
Cool.
put names. And that's been so good, because out of that as well, it's when that is said and done, you send that over and you say,
Yeah.
and it I can now be able to reach out to the members and say, hey, I prayed for you today. How are you? Any other ways I can be praying for you? And then also as well, like, yeah, the danger is that, like, that orthodoxy, and
Yeah. Yeah.
being separated from orthopraxy. So
Yeah.
so just reading even just big theological material, mainly for soul edification,
Yeah.
and maybe slowing down to pray. um
Yeah.
and yeah, you're right, it does end up fueling you can now be able to be in class and not only teach theology theoretically, but teach it in a way that people also can see that this is you've been there, you've
Yeah.
lived
Yeah.
this thing. And yeah,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you saying that. And so one of the things I'm going to do is send this to some pastor friends of mine. Yeah, if you were to give, you're on the side of the other side of the world, and we're on this side. And if you were to give some advice to pastors, if you just like had a platform to give advice to pastors at this time, what would you say? you know
Yeah. So I think for me it would be first of all, it's really to invest in the spiritual disciplines or the means of
okay.
grace, because I think we preach out of the overflow of life. We need to be feeding our souls first. There are good books. Currently, I came across books by probably Brian Croft. He has written very good books for pastors.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So care. I think it talks about soul care and how you take care of your own soul
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
pastor. And I've really benefited from that. And so I think my encouragement would be to invest so much in your own life, your own spiritual walk with God, because our spiritual walk will actually affect our effectiveness in ministry. How we raise our kids, how we serve,
Okay.
will be
Yeah.
affected by our walk with the Lord. And so I think it's important really to invest heavily on our own walk with God, so that we are truly men of God, men who are godly men, pursuing godliness, as Paul tells Timothy, pursue godliness. So I think that should be our aim as pastors, to really, basic things like, prayer, reading the Bible, worship, and finding ourselves, we don't go to church just to preach, but also to be fed, just to worship with the
Yeah,
people of God.
yeah.
So that
That's good.
we're
That's
not
good.
going there because we just want to perform. It's not a duty. We're going there to worship as well. So I think that should be a disposition that we should have as pastors.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, thank you so much, Pastor Ken. I think this has been very, very helpful and very, very
Yeah,
life giving. Because I was like,
yeah,
listen,
yeah,
get the man of God in here, and get all the
yeah,
nuggets you can get. And I
yeah,
know this is going to be edifying for
yeah,
our people as well. And yeah,
yeah,
and we're
yeah,
we're praying that this would become also like that your work will continue, and yeah, I'm looking
yeah,
forward to
yeah,
as I'm planning on coming to Africa, looking forward to coming and spending time with
yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no,
That'll be
thank you
great.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you. I really
um
appreciate it. Yeah.